Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're kicking off our series Crypto from Beginner to Master, starting right at level 1, Crypto Fundamentals. We're going to strip away all that confusing jargon and just break down the absolute basics using a really simple first principles approach. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so before we can even touch the concept of cryptocurrency, let me ask you something. Do you actually know what money is? I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? Like, obviously you know what money is, but to truly grasp digital value, we really have to start right in our comfort zone with the stuff we use every single day. When you think about it, money is literally just a tool that we all collectively agree to use. We use it to buy and sell goods, store our wealth for the future, measure what things are actually worth, and, transfer value to other people. You hand a cashier $500 and you get a brand new phone. It's essentially a shared hallucination of value, just a totally agreed upon system of exchange. But here's the thing. Whenever you make one of those transactions, a major friction point pops up. Who is actually keeping the records? I mean, with physical cash, it's obvious, right? You hand it over, it's gone. But today, most of our money is just digital numbers moving between screens. So who is actually tracking all of that? Well, in the traditional world, if Alice wants to send money to Bob, a bank basically sits right in the middle as this giant centralized referee. They approve the transaction and update the ledger. But in the cryptocurrency model, that bank is completely removed. Alice sends value to Bob directly, straight through a decentralized network. No middlemen, no bankers taking a cut, just a direct transfer. And that brings us to the actual formal definition of cryptocurrency. It's a digital asset that uses cryptography and blockchain technology to enable transactions and maintain ownership records. The secret is literally right there in the name. The crypto part means using advanced math to make it totally unhackable, completely secure from fraud. And the currency part? That just means it transfers value. So it's basically ironclad security and money, fused together into one. Now, with traditional money, you have physical cash that you can actually touch and hold. But crypto is entirely digital. You cannot hold a physical Bitcoin in your hand. I know we always see pictures of those shiny gold coins with the B on them, but they don't actually exist. Your ownership exists solely as verified data floating on a network, and you manage it all through digital wallets. So, because there are no physical coins to hand over, you need an absolutely ironclad way to track who owns what. Enter the digital ledger. A ledger is simply a continuous record of transactions, showing exactly who sent what to whom. Think of it like a massive, constantly updating spreadsheet that just says, okay, Alice sent $100 to Bob, and Bob sent 40 to Carol. It tracks the whole shebang. And this brings us to what is arguably the most crucial concept of all here: decentralization. Control and record keeping are distributed across a vast network, rather than being hoarded by one central authority. Why does this matter to you? Well, because it means no single tech CEO, no sketchy bank, and no government controls your ledger. You have true financial sovereignty. It's a real game changer. Let's break that down a bit more. Imagine a classroom where one teacher holds the absolute only copy of the gradebook. If they decide to change a grade, fairly or unfairly, that's the final word. That is a centralized system. Now imagine every single student in that class has a magical, self-updating copy of that exact same gradebook. If a new score gets added, everyone's book updates simultaneously based on strict mathematical rules. Nobody can secretly cheat the system because everyone would see it instantly. That is the power of a decentralized system. Now, it's absolutely crucial to distinguish between the infrastructure and the asset itself, because people mix these up constantly. Blockchain is the underlying technology. It's that network of magical student notebooks we just talked about. Cryptocurrency, on the other hand, is the digital asset moving through that network. So think of the blockchain as the digital highway and the cryptocurrency as the actual cars driving on it. This entire digital revolution officially kicked off way back in 2009 when Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin to the world. And honestly, the craziest part about all this, Satoshi Nakamoto is completely a pseudonym. To this day, literally nobody knows if it's one genius coder in a basement, a massive group of developers, or, I don't know, an alien intelligence. But whoever they are, they fundamentally changed how we transfer value peer-to-peer. But please, whatever you do, don't make the common mistake of thinking Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are the exact same thing. Just like vehicle is a really broad category and Toyota is just one specific type of vehicle, cryptocurrency is the broad, overarching category, and Bitcoin is just one specific asset within it. Sure, Bitcoin was the first, but it is definitely far from the only one out there. Because Bitcoin was just the jumping-off point, it birthed this massive, sprawling ecosystem. Today, we're looking at thousands of different assets. We've got Ether, which powers the whole Ethereum network. We have stablecoins, which are super fascinating because they're specifically designed to be pegged to traditional assets, like the US dollar, to avoid those crazy price roller coasters crypto is famous for. Plus, there are thousands of other governance and utility tokens, all with their own specific jobs. So to actually use any of these assets, you're going to need a crypto wallet. But remember, since there are no physical coins, your wallet isn't holding anything physical. It's really just a manager for your cryptographic keys. Think of your public key kind of like your bank account number. Anyone can use it to send you money. And your private key? That's like your super secret PIN code used to actually access those funds. And a fair warning, lose that PIN and you lose the crypto. Seriously. So how does a transaction actually flow from start to finish? Well, when Alice decides to send some crypto to Bob, her wallet creates the transaction and digitally signs it with her private key. That request gets broadcasted out to the entire network. Then, the network participants verify that she actually has the funds to send. Once verified, the transaction is permanently locked into the blockchain and boom, Bob gets access to the funds. All of this happens seamlessly, with zero bankers involved. Ultimately, what we're looking at here is a fundamental shift in trust. I mean, look at them side by side. Traditional currency relies entirely on governments and central banks. Crypto relies on network protocols and pure math. One is centralized, the other is completely distributed. Now, crypto doesn't automatically just replace traditional finance overnight, but it definitely offers a profoundly powerful alternative model.
However, I do have to play devil's advocate for a second here, because this new frontier is absolutely not risk-free. High price volatility can literally slash your portfolio's value overnight. And like we said, if you lose those private keys, your assets are just gone. There is no friendly forgot password button in crypto. Throw in scams, phishing attacks, smart contract bugs, and regulatory uncertainty, and you've got a wild west. You absolutely must understand the tech before you start risking your own hard-earned money.
But taking a step back for a minute, you can really see how all these building blocks perfectly snap together. We started off with the basic concept of money and digital value, moved right into blockchain infrastructure, layered on the cryptocurrency assets and those cryptographic wallets, and finally tied the whole thing together with peer-to-peer transactions and shared ledgers. Once you grasp this chain of ideas, the entire crypto world suddenly starts making a whole lot more sense.
So, now that you've got a solid handle on exactly what cryptocurrency is, there is one massive lingering mystery left. How do millions of separate computers across the globe actually agree on the truth without a single central boss telling them what to do? Basically, how does a blockchain actually work under the hood? Keep that question rolling around in your mind because honestly, that is where the real magic happens. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.